Hi, my name's Joe Altieri, the inventor and president of FlexScreen. I want to thank you so much for taking a few minutes to learn more about our product. But before we get started with that, I would like to give you a quick history of who I am, because that might help you to understand why FlexScreen even exists. I've been in the window and door industry for over 20 years, and most of that time was spent as an independent sales rep selling into the window and door market. I would sell pieces and parts to the window manufacturers, things like hardware and spacer and silicone, things that they needed to make windows to ship out to their customers. The thing that I sold the most of was window screens. Most window screens are not made by the window manufacturers anymore. They're actually produced by large screen companies that ship into them just in time. I worked for one of those companies. So my job was to convince a window manufacturer that what they were making yesterday, I will make today, speaking of screens, and I will save them money. The problem with convincing someone to outsource a product is the inherent problems with that product go from being their problem yesterday to my problem today. So things like scratching and denting and things like this were a part of my everyday life. And frankly, I was completely frustrated by it. Some of our customers, we were shipping to 24 hours a day. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, if a cart of screens got knocked over and they all got damaged, I was the one getting a call, because windows cannot leave the plants without having screens on them. So about 8 years ago, I started experimenting in my garage, just trying to come up with a product that wouldn't get damaged as easy. When I came out of my garage, it took me about 2 years, but when I came out of my garage with what I call my bubble gum and duct tape prototype, just a prototype made out of things that I could buy at Lowe's and Home Depot and Grainger, and I showed that prototype off to people in the window and door industry, they went crazy for it. They gave me 2 pieces of advice. The first was, get this patented, because nothing has changed in the window screen industry for over 100 years. As a matter of fact, when we were doing our patent searches, we found the original patent for a metal window screen with a rubber spline, which looks just like the screens that you're probably using today. It was invented in 1907. Over 100-year-old technology, virtually unchanged, that the window and door industry is still using every single day. It is a shame. Those 100-year-old technology does not belong on a modern window. The second piece of advice was, if you build it, we will come. So a little over 5 years ago, I got some investors together and we opened up our first plant in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it has been off to the races since then. Over the next couple minutes, we're going to answer a bunch of questions about FlexScreen, and you're going to get to see all of the value that we bring to you as a window manufacturer, to you as a window dealer, and ultimately to the homeowners. So let's get started with the presentation. Thank you again for joining us.
Sometimes the simplest ideas are the best, solving everyday problems that have previously been ignored. Most of us would love more fresh air in our homes. But traditional window screens decrease our view of the outside world and make our windows look unattractive. They're hard to install and damage easily. FlexScreen was designed to remove these frustrations and make things so much easier. First, they're tough. FlexScreen won't scratch or dent like traditional screens, and they're so easy to put in and take out. And the best part? FlexScreen disappears when installed, allowing a beautifully uninterrupted view of the outside. Simple, invisible. FlexScreen. Enjoy the view.
So the question that we get asked the most is, why FlexScreen? And I'm sure that's what you want to know as well. Well, the first thing is that FlexScreen is damage resistant. That thing that I was trying to accomplish in my garage all those years ago, we actually accomplished. Now, within the screen industry, 3 to 5% of all window screens that are produced have to be repaired or replaced before a homeowner is happy. That's 1 out of 25. It is a huge financial burden for the window manufacturers, for the window dealers, and also leads to unhappy customers. FlexScreen's remake rate is an incredible 0.02%. That's 1 out of 3,600 screens. I am so proud of our team that continues to try to drive that lower and lower and lower, but ultimately we have the best remake rate of any screen in the entire industry. The second Y of FlexScreen is something that we call beautifully invisible. And that means that our screen completely hides in the screen pocket. So there's no color matching. Painted and colored windows have become so popular in our industry, and we don't see that trend stopping anytime soon. So it doesn't matter if it's forest green, brick red, or Pink Panther pink, because our screens hide completely, we always match. On top of it, the fact that our screen hides in the screen pocket makes the view so much bigger. This is our little 8x8 brochure. We created this a long time ago. We like the size of this, but we had a window dealer early on, had them printed up in 11 by 11. And the reason that they did that is there is a sales pitch that will help you sell more windows based on the fact that FlexScreen hides in the pocket. So when they're talking to the homeowner, they say, Mrs. Jones, you're actually not buying a window today. You're buying a view to the outside world. Because if you're only worried about thermal efficiency and things like that, you should just brick up that opening, because there's no possible way that any window is going to be as efficient as the wall that it goes into. But you want to see the outside. You want to see your children playing out in the yard. You want to see your dogs running. You want to see that beautiful manicured landscaping that you put so much time and effort into. You are paying for a view to the outside. Now, if you have a window that has a different screen on it that's not FlexScreen, that screen takes up 3/4 of an inch all the way around the window. If you do the math, Mrs. Jones, 3/4 of an inch all the way around a standard size window is over a square foot. That's actually bigger than this. This is how much of the view that you're going to pay for today, Mrs. Jones, that you're not going to get. Is that something that you're happy about? Then they take the pitch a step further and they walk into the living room where everybody has a new flat screen TV over their mantle. They say, Mrs. Jones, if you were shopping for a new TV and you went to Best Buy and you had that wall of TVs in front of you, and one of those TVs had this much of the view blocked, would you buy that TV? Of course you wouldn't, Mrs. Jones. You're not a stupid woman. But today you're buying 15 windows, 15 views to the outside world, that if you buy somebody else's window, this is how much you're going to pay for that's going to be blocked. That is an amazing sales pitch, and it helps people sell more windows when they make FlexScreen standard on them. The next Y of FlexScreen is simple design. Our screen is as simple as it can possibly be and still do its job, which is to block bugs. So there's no hardware on our screens at all. So there's no P-pins, those spring-loaded pins where there's 6 of them and you only have 2 hands, you can't get them all out at the same time. There's no pull tabs that pull out of the spline channel the first time the homeowner uses them. There's no plastic screen corners that turn yellow in the UV and make your windows look so ugly. Our screen is just mesh and frame exactly the way that it should be. The next Y of FlexScreen is my personal favorite, effortless installation. And I have a quick video that shows you how easy it is to take our screen in and out. Check this out.
Installing FlexScreen is a simple 4-step process. First, insert one corner into the top screen track. Now the second. The bottom is the third. And simply pull in the fourth and you're done. Removing FlexScreen is just as easy. Simply push in the center, grab one side with some screen cloth, now the other, compress, walk the bottom corner out, and pull down. It's that simple. FlexScreen.
So I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to do a flawless presentation with FlexScreen on a demo-sized window. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to press your palm in the center of the screen. You'll see the screen frame will start to bow out a little bit, and you get your fingers behind the screen frame. Grab a little bit of the mesh and pull, and the other side, if you can see under my arm, the other side will start pulling out. Get your fingers behind that. Now this is the key. Walk one corner out at a time. So bottom corner, top corner. To put it in, you do exactly the opposite. Top corner, bottom corner. It is that simple. Now, some of the things that we see happen is that people are afraid to touch it. Don't be afraid to touch our screen. It's called flex screen. Flex the sides in. So don't be afraid to flex it in. You don't have to twist it into a pretzel, but don't be afraid of it either. So make sure that you're flexing it. The second thing is to make sure that you're working from the center. If you find your hands down here or way up here, you're doing something wrong. Work from the center. The last thing, definitely don't try to do the screen all at once. One corner at a time makes it very easy. If you try to pop the whole thing in, it just is a little bit more difficult and you might stumble. But practice once or twice and I promise you, you will have an amazing presentation that will have the homeowners just going, wow. So let's talk about full screens for a minute. We love full screens. Now we sell half screens and that used to be a big portion of our business. But as we've been educating our customers and their customers on how to sell full screens and the benefits to the homeowner, that ratio has changed dramatically to now where we sell almost exclusively all full screens. Now you might be wondering, how is a full screen a benefit to a homeowner? Well, first of all, let's talk about why half screens even exist. Well, your window is designed for full screens. Double hungs, double sliders are designed for full screens. If you sell single hungs or single sliders, you actually have a full screen on your window already because it blocks the entire opening of the window. That is the definition of a full screen. Windows are designed for full screens. The problem with traditional full screens is that you can't put a bigger rectangle into a smaller rectangle unless the sides are flexible like ours. So there had to be engineered into the design a reveal somewhere for that screen to fit. So either on the top or the sides, there was a gap where Mrs. Jones has a perception that bugs can get in and out. Also, it's terribly, terribly ugly. On top of it, as the window engineers were trying to make that gap as small as possible, they made the screens next to impossible to get in and out for the homeowner. So the industry started selling half screens. But if you can learn how to sell full screens, you will sell more windows because it is a huge value to the homeowner. So the American Safety Council, that's the governing body that says that you have to have a tag on your hairdryer so that you don't take a bath with it, has stated that the only safe way to vent a double hung window is to vent it from the top. They don't talk about night locks or child safety or anything like that. They say the only safe way to vent a double hung window is to vent it from the top. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Because if a small child leans against the window, you want them leaning against glass, not against a screen. So as the window dealers are doing their pitch to Mrs. Jones, this is how it goes. Mrs. Jones, did you know that the American Safety Council said that the only safe way to vent a double hung window is to vent it from the top? Now, our competition feels that a half screen, because it costs a few dollars less, that they are willing to save that money, put it into their pocket, and possibly allow your children or grandchildren to have a catastrophic accident through your windows. Our company, Mrs. Jones, our company feels that the security of your children and grandchildren is of utmost importance. And so that's why we have flex screen, full screen standard on every single one of our windows. Isn't that something that you found really, really valuable, Mrs. Jones? And by the time these window dealers are all done, and they're so much better at doing the pitch than I am, but the implication is if Mrs. Jones buys another window without a full screen in it, that she hates her children and wants them to die. I know that sounds so crazy and so extreme, but these window dealers are so good at weaving that into the conversation. But more importantly, the differentiation between you as a company that cares about the safety of Mrs. Jones and that other company that just wants to save $1 or $2 is enormous. You can honestly say that the financial gain for that window dealer is more important than the safety of Mrs. Jones' children or grandchildren. That is a huge, huge advantage when you are trying to differentiate yourself out in the marketplace. So one question that we get a lot from people who have gone onto our website, especially homeowners, as they're reaching out to dealers wanting FlexScreen on their windows is, what is this FlexView Clean mesh? So we have trademarked a couple brand names within the mesh industry, and one of them is FlexView Clean. So if you get the FlexView Clean mesh on your windows, what that has is a hydrophobic coating on the screen mesh. Now that's important to Mrs. Jones because dust, pollen, and debris sticks to screen mesh. It just does. As the wind is coming through, those little tiny openings collect all of that dust, pollen, and debris. When Mrs. Jones goes to open up her window, all of that dust, pollen, and debris comes right inside of her house. Mrs. Jones does not want that. So our screen mesh, the FlexView Clean screen mesh, that hydrophobic coating allows the water from rain or a garden hose to have that water sheet off and take all of that dust, pollen, and debris with it. So every time it rains, every time Mrs. Jones squirts her screens off with the hose, all of that debris, all of that pollutants stream off with the water, and she keeps her screens nice and clean. Again, one more benefit of having FlexScreen on your windows is the FlexView Clean mesh. Now that we know why FlexScreen, let's talk about what FlexScreen is made of. This is a piece of our FlexScreen frame. So the inner core of our frame is high carbon oil tempered spring steel. So it's garage door spring material. The leaf springs on your car. It's the same material, just in a smaller form factor. Now, homeowners understand the resistance to damage of a garage door spring or a leaf spring on their vehicle. If you're anything like me, I have 2 teenage girls at home. My garage door goes up and down probably 15, 20 times a day. So homeowners understand that repeated use is not going to hurt our product. FlexScreen has been tested at over 10,000 cycles with normal use. So our screens are very, 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 very tough. Now the outer coating of our frame, that black coating that's on the outside of our frame, is PVC. It's vinyl. You've seen that coating if you've ever sat on a steel park bench that had a green coating on it, kind of a soft coating. That's our coating. You've also seen it on dishwasher racks. It is an exterior grade product. It is designed to be out in the elements. As a matter of fact, it has a 4,000 hour salt spray resistance rating. AMA only requires 2,000 hours on anything else on your window. But even though there's no requirements for screens, we double AMA requirements for anything else. Our screens are very resistant to the elements. Now, we use that coating for another reason other than just the weather resistance that I just talked about. We use that coating to attach the mesh to the frame. So the next question we're going to answer is, how is the screen mesh attached to the frame? So on regular screen mesh, you have fiberglass threads that are coated in PVC. Our frame is also coated in PVC. So what we do is we vinyl weld. Much like the way that vinyl window companies weld the corners of their windows, we are doing the same thing. Heat and pressure. What that means to you is that there's no adhesive that's going to break down in the elements. There's nothing that's going to outgas and mess with the spacer systems on your glass. It is the same technology that is used to weld vinyl windows is used to make FlexScreen. So speaking of that bond between the mesh and the frame, we get asked all the time, how strong is that bond? Well, there's a requirement up in Canada where you take a 30-inch by 30-inch screen and you put a weight in the middle of it. You put a 30-pound weight in the middle of it. We didn't think that 30 pounds was enough to really test our screen, so we put 100 pounds in the middle of it and let it sit for 30 days. When we took the weights off after 30 days, you were able to put that screen right into a window. Nothing at all had happened to it. So it is a very, very strong bond. Now, we are FlexScreen, so we always take things to the extreme. This video that we're showing right now is a video of Brad, who's our plant manager at our Detroit location. He's about 185 pounds, And as you can see, that screen lifts him right up off the ground. In a second here, you'll see he lets go, big smile on his face. Now, I'm about 200 pounds and I have no problem standing in the middle of a 30-inch by 30-inch screen. That's how strong the bond is between the mesh and our FlexScreen frame. So another question we get asked is, can FlexScreen be repaired? So let me give you a quick explanation into why our screens are so strong. When all of these individual fibers are all engaged together, they're extremely strong. Fiberglass is a very strong material. So as somebody's stepping on them or pressing on them, all of those tens of thousands of fibers are all pushing against that force. However, if we turn the screen to the back side and we take our thumbnail and we press against 2 or 3 of those, we can actually break those individual threads. That allows our screen to be repaired, because if we couldn't remove the mesh because that bond is so strong, we would never be able to repair it. So this video shows the repair process. So the tool in that video is a wood burning kit that you can buy from Hobby Lobby, Amazon, even Lowe's and Home Depot have them. I have one here that you guys can check out. So this tool is about $10. Again, on Amazon, you can buy it for about $10. There's a little custom tip that fits over the edge of our screen frame. So what we are doing is we're heating that mesh up so that we can melt the PVC on the mesh and the frame together manually out in the field. This process is extremely easy. I have shown hundreds and hundreds of window manufacturers and dealers how to repair screens on their conference room tables. This little tool, again, all in about $20. You put it into your installation truck and they can put the tailgate down and repair a screen right there on site. However, we have something special that we offer to the window manufacturers and the window dealers that make FlexScreen standard. We have a lifetime warranty on our screens, and that's between us and the homeowners. You do not have to be involved in it in any way. And it reads like this. Your FlexScreen carries a limited lifetime warranty for any defects that arise that would prevent the product from effectively deterring the entry of insects into your home. So what that means, if it no longer blocks bugs, we're going to replace it for free. Let me repeat that. If it no longer blocks bugs, we're going to replace the screen for free. So if Mrs. Jones cuts her screen with a utility knife on purpose, are you going to replace it for free? Yes, we're going to replace it for free. If Mrs. Jones' cat sits on the windowsill and scratches a hole in the screen, are you going to replace it for free? Yes, if it no longer blocks bugs, we're going to replace it for free. If Mrs. Jones throws it off her third story, out of her third story window, drives it over with her car, and then drags it behind her ATV through the woods, are you going to replace it for free? Yes, I'm going to replace it for free. 2 things. This is a limited lifetime warranty, so we asked the homeowners to register. And we have some great ways that I'm going to talk about in a second on how easy that is for the homeowner to register. But on top of it, we also asked that she pays the shipping and handling to get it out to her. So depending on the size, for $10 to $12, she gets a new screen for free. So think about the value that you're bringing to Mrs. Jones. Not only, Mrs. Jones, does FlexScreen give you the entire view that you're paying for in your window. Not only do you not have any of that problematic hardware that every other screen in the industry has. Not only is FlexScreen going to protect your family by having a full screen so you can vent that top screen. Not only is it so easy to take in and out and damage resistant, so when you take them out, they're going to look the same when you put them back in. But on top of all of those things, Mrs. Jones, on top of all of those things, if you ever have a problem with the screen, FlexScreen will replace it for free. That is a tremendous value that you can present to the homeowner, all because of a window screen. Now, I talked about registering the warranty. We have some really cool stuff. Of course, they can register with a paper registration. They can fill it out, they can send it to us, they can fax it, they can scan it, whatever the case may be. They can also register online. But then we started something new, and we have a quick video showing how this happens. But if you as a window dealer can send us the email addresses for the homeowners' jobs that you've done that week, that day, however you want to send them to us, we send them a simple email and they click Register My FlexScreen. and they are now registered. It is that simple. It is a 3-second registration. It takes them to this helpful page after they register where there's some installation instructions, there's video and also print instructions. They can also go down through and rate their FlexScreen experience. So if for some reason they are unhappy with FlexScreen, which is so rare, but if for some reason that they are, we know about it before you have to get involved. That's how important our reputation is in the marketplace. We are going to take care of screen problems before they ever hit your radar. We want your homeowners to have a great experience with FlexScreen. So how is FlexScreen shipped? Now, most of our window manufacturer partners get their screens like this. So they are in returnable carts. They're all labeled. They have an identification label on them which says which screen matches up with which window. They're also in sequence. So screen number 1 matches up with window number 1. And those carts will write out to their line and make it very, very easy for them. The second way is that we ship LTL. So we can build pallets and ship them longer distances. Or if you're a new construction company, we can actually send a pallet full of screens out to the job site so that you don't have to have those screens in the way until you want to put them in. The last way that we ship is in boxes. We ship thousands and thousands of screens in boxes every single week. So we ship to homeowners. We do a tremendous amount of homeowner business. All we do is wrap them in cardboard and send them out. No other screen can possibly survive the abuse that FedEx and UPS put screens through. But we can also do house packs. So if you want your screens packaged up per house and then boxed, we can do that for you here at our plant without you ever having to touch them. So FlexScreen has 5 manufacturing locations, and we are growing fast. We want to open up even more in North America as soon as we possibly can. So we have Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Detroit, Michigan, Atlanta, Georgia, Vermilion, South Dakota, and our most recent plant is in Toronto, Canada. So we are so happy to be growing so fast. And we want to thank you guys for your support because it's because of you that we're able to grow at the rate that we are. So what does the industry think about FlexScreen? Window and Door Magazine gave us a Crystal Achievement Award, which is the highest award in the industry for the most innovative window product. Not the most innovative screen, not the coolest thing that blocks bugs. The most innovative product in the entire industry is FlexScreen. Door and Window Magazine gave us the Reader's Choice Award 3 years in a row. Actually, they didn't give it to us. Their readers voted and said that FlexScreen was their favorite product in the entire industry every year that they've had the Reader's Choice Award. We also had this really cool thing happen. I'm a big fan of Mike Holmes and the shows that he has, like Holmes 911s and Holmes on Homes. And they contacted us earlier in the year and asked if they could feature FlexScreen on their show. And we were so humbled and proud to see this clip. Check this out.
A little birdie told me you have something new.
Yeah.
A screen that's easily removed.
Easy removal of the screen will encourage people to do maintenance.
Windows in today?
Windows and doors in today.
You are the man.
Thanks, sir.
Keep making it right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's our first project to the screen, and I'm really excited. It flexes back to its position. It makes it so easy to remove your screens and clean them without any fuss. So here we go. For the first time, let's see what happens. Ta-da! There you go.
And then this happened. Now, if you are in the window and door industry and you haven't heard about this, you must be living under a rock. But we were featured on the show Shark Tank. It was an amazing, amazing experience. And if you want to reach out to me directly, I would love to tell you some of the behind the scenes fun Shark Tank stories. But one of the things that it did for us is it took us from being window famous, because if you're in the window industry, you've known about FlexScreen's success over the last couple years, but it made us a homeowner brand. That is something that no other product in the window and door industry can possibly claim. There is no other product in the window and door industry that possibly can capture the excitement of the Shark Tank producers who reached out to us and asked us to be on the show, and of the sharks that were fighting over partnering with us. We have had tremendous response based off of our Shark Tank appearance, and we have dealers that are contacting us every single week saying, What window manufacturer can we buy from that has flex screen standard because our homeowners want that Shark Tank screen? And just in case you guys didn't see the clip, here is a little piece of it so you can see how it turned out. Check this out.
I like my side of the business. I like the window manufacturer. So, having a separate retail company.
Interesting.
I'm actually leaning towards that.
And I'll tell you something else. My younger brother, Marty Joe, in Oregon, is in your business.
Really?
He's a huge hit.
Guess what,
and
Joe?
he's looking to do something else.
I'll do that same deal.
You can't get my brother Marty, Lori.
No, I can't get Marty. I can't get Marty, but I'll do the same deal.
Would either one of you be willing to up the cash versus the line of credit to sweeten the pot?
No.
What are you going to do?
I do think that you have the better connections with the hardware space, and I'd love to partner up with you on that deal.
Oh, damn it.
Awesome.
Wow.
Well, that's not only losing a deal, but watching somebody steal your idea and lose the deal.
I'm sorry.
Barb.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you guys very much. It's going to change everything about our company, and partnering with Lori is going to be fantastic. Just so excited, I can't even contain myself.
Ooh, Barbara's giving me the evil stare.
Lori, it wasn't fair. You played dirty, and I don't like it. But I'm a lot prettier than you, so I'm going to get over it.
So, the fact that 3 of the sharks were fighting over us, the fact that Barbara dropped the F-bomb on national TV with 30 million people watching, made our clip, our little segment, one of the most watched of the entire season. We have just been propelled into the homeowner space, and we are so grateful for the opportunity to be on that show. Now, because of our partnership with Lori and all of the amazing things that come from that, you're going to start seeing advertising, and you're going to start seeing messages out there. You're going to start seeing flex screen on more and more shows, things like Good Morning America and Dr. Oz talking about fresh air and all of those types of things that are going to bring more attention to the product and drive the demand up higher and higher. There is nothing else in the window and door industry that can claim that it was seen on Shark Tank. You should be using that to differentiate yourself from your competitors that still have those old style screens. Now, as far as advertising goes, we are not just going to be talking about if you have a bad screen, replace it with flex screen. We're going to be saying, don't buy a window without flex screen. If you buy a window without flex screen, it is a less than window. Don't get ripped off by buying a window that doesn't have flex screen. These are powerful messages that we are going to hammer over and over and over again. On top of it, we have homeowners contacting us trying to find out where they can buy windows that have flex screen. So in the future, if you partner with us, if you make flex screen standard, we are going to have a dealer locator on our website that will allow homeowners to log on, put in their zip code, and come up with the dealers that have made flex screen standard so that we're driving leads to you. That is the power that we can bring to this relationship with you as a window dealer and as a window manufacturer. Let's talk about marketing for a second. We are a marketing powerhouse. Yes, we manufacture screens. Yes, we develop new products, but ultimately we are a marketing company. I am so passionate about marketing that we actually purchased a digital marketing company and brought them in-house about 1.5 years ago. We are very good at social media and digital marketing. If you check out this slide, you will see how much our digital footprint has grown through the years. As a matter of fact, if you take all of our connections across all of our platforms and our engagement, we are the biggest brand, let me repeat that, we are the biggest brand online in the entire window and door industry. We have hundreds of thousands of connections. We have posts and content that has over 1 million views. If you guys check out TikTok, if you guys are not on TikTok yet, please talk to your teenagers, talk to some young people. TikTok is the next thing that is coming. We have videos on TikTok that have over 1 million views. We are a screen company, but we are a powerhouse as far as marketing goes. So tag us in your posts. We will tag you back. We will use our power to help boost you if you have flex screen as part of your window platform. Now, we want to support you as one of our partners. So if you go to flexscreendownloads.com, you will see all kind of assets that you can use to show that you have flex screen on your windows. There are videos, there are graphics, there are social media posts that you can download and post on your social media. We make it so easy that ties our partnership together. We want to make it easy for you to show that you have partnered with FlexScreen, and we want you to sell more windows because of it. So hopefully, by the time I've got through all this, you want to know more about FlexScreen, or maybe you're convinced that you simply want to have FlexScreen on every single one of your windows. If that is the case, please reach out to me personally. I would love to answer any questions that you have. And also, if you're a window dealer, we would love to point you in the direction of some of our window manufacturing partners so that you can have FlexScreen standard on every single one of your windows. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and we are here for you if you need us.